Hey everybody, welcome in. Pat Flynn here from Smart Passive Income. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is Monday, July 24th. I hope you're having a good one. We're going to dive right in, especially if you're watching the replay. I don't want to waste your time. And for those of you here live, same thing. We have a lot to cover today about email. Now, email is not always the most fun topic to talk about, but I'm going to make it fun because we're going to have it become a simple thing that you can understand to help you grow your business. And again, this is for those of you who, if you're just getting started, we have some stuff for you. If you have an email list already and it's not quite working the way you want it to go, we have some stuff for you. If you already have an email list and it's going bonkers for you, we have some stuff for you as well. So again, thank you so much today. So I want to ask all of you who are here a question. Also, I see a lot of you here live already. BizQuig, Rex, Julia, Ty, Marina, William, Sam, welcome in. For those of you in the live chat right now, tell me where you're from. If you're watching the replay, just hang tight because I'm about to dive into something that might be a little surprising. This is a news article from a little bit ago. It's the Wall Street Journal. It says, the hot new channel for reaching real people. Now, we've all seen a lot of new things come out recently, like threads and other things. Now, when I share this with you, it's going to be really interesting because this was not from that long ago. This was, in fact, from just 2019, which is really interesting, right? You might think a headline like this might have come from, 1999 or something, but no, this is 20 years after that, 2019, which is really interesting, right? Even DHH here from Basecamp says, email is the next big thing, and this is very recently, not today, though, because you could still see the Twitter logo. By the way, if you didn't know, hot news, the Twitter logo is now an X. We're not even going to go there today. But as DHH says here, email is the next big thing. We're finally realizing just how precious these open standards were all along. Your way around Facebook and all the other walled garden parasites go through email. And what he's saying here is email is something that you still own, that you still control, and then all you're fighting with are open rates, right? Which means subject lines and getting through and making sure they don't go to spam, and we have a lot of training for that inside of All Access Pass. But more than that, there's no algorithms or things like that that you have to worry about. You can't just wake up tomorrow and Facebook changes something or Twitter changes something, including their logo, or Facebook, Instagram, whatever. It's email. And so by far, email is the most precious thing that we as business owners should be focusing on. However, a lot of us avoid it. We are more attracted to these other things that are a little bit more controlled by others, and we want to maintain as much control as possible. Toby here, who is the founder of Shopify, even said, email lists and website are the only two things you can own on the internet. Everything else is just rented. Hello, everybody who's coming in live. Thank you so much again for that. I appreciate you. Here is what we know, though. We're getting into the training now. Again, I said I'm diving right in, everybody. We have a lot to cover. So if you're here, get your notepad ready. Yes, a replay will be available for you immediately after this, but it's not going to be available for that much long after. And stick around because we have some fun things to share with you today and a free gift, essentially, that you can get if you remain here as we go. But this is what we know. We know that you need an email list, right? No matter what kind of business you have to have an email list. It is of utmost importance for every reason, including insurance. Like if your business were to go away for some reason and maybe your website were to be hacked. My website was hacked in March of 2013. You know what? I wasn't too worried. You know why? Because I had an email list. I could take that website somewhere else, start up a new shop somewhere. And of course, with communication to your people, and if you sell anything or promote anything and upserve your audience with anything, then of course an email list is important for those reasons as well. The unknown here, however, is, well, how do we grow an email list? What's working today to do that? How do we use it? So there's a lot of people who talk about growing an email list, but how do we actually use it and actually make use of the dollars that we may be spending to house these people inside of an email service provider? And number 3, how do we automate an email list? Yes, Coach Deb, I'm sharing for free. Good to see you here, by the way. How do we automate this thing? How do we have this thing work for us, right? So everybody from here all the way to the back, I see you. Make sure to pay attention because we're about to dive in, and I'm going to go over exactly what we're going to talk about today. This is the plan for our training today. I'm going to share with you a couple strategies to grow your email list, right? One for beginners and one for advanced. Let me know in the chat if you already have an email list. You don't have to share the size of it because the size of it is actually not that important. It's the quality of the people that are on there that is more important. 2 powerful ways to use your list. This is really key. Again, not just growing it to grow it. Cool, you have a big email list, but you never send any emails. Not good. And number 1, the framework that you can approach email with to make everything better. The Mindset School has an email list. Already have an email list. Not an email list yet, says Michael. Cool. Thank you for participating, by the way. So let's talk. Let's just dive right in. Growing your list, right? Why is this important? Because we want new people to find us, right? We want new people to come onto our list so we can communicate with them. We can learn from them. They can learn from us. Everybody's going to be happy. This is what I love about email as well. Email is a very relationship sort of based platform in a very personalized way, like to the likes of a DM on a social media platform, but even more so because you protect your email, right? You don't just give out your email to anybody, and that's an important thing to understand as a creator as well. So here's the secret. Nobody wants more emails. I don't know anybody who wakes up in the morning. I mean, you might be the anomaly, but you don't wake up in the morning and say, I want more emails, right? Now, you might wake up in the morning and say, I can't wait for an email from Morning Brew, for example, because I appreciate their newsletter and it helps me save time and it helps me understand what's going on. But nobody really just wants more emails specifically, right? They want the results of what the emails will give them. What's on the other end of it? What am I going to get when I open that email? This is what people want, right? Mario doesn't want to eat a mushroom. He just wants to be bigger so he doesn't die when he gets hit by a Goomba, right? Or a shell. He wants the princess ultimately, right? And to defeat Bowser. Here's the hack, though, to get more leads. Offer more on the other end of it, right? A lead magnet. So my first experience with a lead magnet was this book right here. I had gotten online thanks to getting laid off in 2008 and then writing an ebook to help architects pass an exam. That exam guide was an ebook. And so a lot of people asked me when I built this website, smartpassiveincome.com, how do you write an ebook? So I put it all into a guide and I gave it away for free in exchange for an email address. By the way, this happened in 2010. And I got laid off in 2008 and started my Smart Passive Income website then. What happened between those 2 years? I chickened out. I didn't understand how important email was. It was only in 2010 that I finally realized it, and I only wish I started sooner. So if you're just starting out, like every day that goes by is an opportunity lost to really make a connection with your audience. Now, this worked really well back in 2010. This was you can see there on the top, I think it's a 35-page book, right? A PDF file, and it worked. It got hundreds and then thousands and then tens of thousands of downloads. And of course, I collected those email addresses and was able to serve my audience. Over time, we ended up repositioning this book and redesigning it to be a little bit more on brand, and it doubled in size, 72 pages now. Guess what? We can't give this away anymore. Nobody wants it. Why? Because it's 72 pages long. When a person, even if we were to offer this and it sounds attractive to somebody, when they open it up and they see there's 72 pages here, they're not going to read it. So then it doesn't serve them, and then they're not going to open any more emails. And in most cases, they're not even going to join the email list if this is the kind of lead magnet you're promoting. People are short for time. We want transformation fast, right? We want transformation fast. Yes, Sportsbox, the webinar has started. We're just on a roll right now. You can always go back and watch and rewind if you'd like. So any lead magnet ideas for e-commerce stores? Funny you mentioned that because I have a ton of lead magnet ideas for you. A resource or tool list. Think about your audience. What are the things that they would want? Whether they are whether you are an e-commerce website, a digital agency, or perhaps you have online courses or coaches, your coach, whatever it might be. What is one particular thing that your audience is really interested about? Make a list of those resources, a list of tools. People love tools because we think that, and in some cases, we get the tool, we're ultimately that much better, right? You still have to put that tool to use and know how to use it, in which case those follow-up emails after a person subscribes for these tools or resources can play a big role. Number 2, a quick start guide. Hey, you're going to use my product? Awesome. Here is a guide to how to use it real quick. Or, hey, there is a product that we all use, right? Let's say, for example, that I am a photographer and I have a website that helps photographers, and it's primarily Canon photography stuff. Well, there's a brand new camera that just came out. Well, hey, guess what? I'm going to create a quick start guide, a 3 to 5 page PDF, not a 72-page PDF, a 3 to 5 page PDF that shows everybody all the new changes about this camera that anybody has to know. And I'm going to put it into a nice, handy 2-page, 3-page PDF. You can get it. You just got to give me your email address, and it'll be a win for everybody. Boom. A quick start guide on how to use that tool. A quick start guide on how to do anything in your audience's goal list, right? So pick a goal, create a quick start guide, boom, make it happen. Maybe you teach your audience how to do YouTube. Cool. Here's a one-page PDF of all the equipment you need and how to get started. Boom. Very, very clear. It's saving people time, and it is a valuable resource. Number 3, a cheat sheet. So this is something that we offer for our podcast, a podcast cheat sheet guide, which then leads people into our podcast course. But this is very popular, right? People like the Game Genie. Remember Game Genie? Anybody familiar with Game Genie? Maybe I'm dating myself a little bit, but Game Genie was a tool that you'd put in along with your NES game, and it would offer cheat codes so you can get through the game a little faster and go God mode through the game. Well, you can offer that to your audience for whatever it is that their challenges are as well. We offer a podcast cheat sheet that lists literally every step along the way that a person might need to start a podcast. Boom, here it is, just on 2 pages, an entire checklist. People love checklists as well because they are something that a person can mark off as you go. So they can be a combination of some of these things you're seeing on the screen right now, right? All right, number 5, mini email course. A mini email course. This is great because a course is something that might require a few more things to do than just like a couple pages in a PDF file, but an email course can be great. It's all just delivered via email. We have a few of these as well. You subscribe and you can get over time a number of emails that walk you through a process and get you through a transformation. The fact that it's via email makes it actually super convenient for everybody as well. All right. Number 6, a sample chapter. If you have a book out there, a great idea might be putting a chapter of your book out there for free. Now a person wants to know the next part of the story or the next part of the information that you have to share, right? So a sample chapter could always work really well, and it could lead a person to get excited about what you have and then go further into your book from there. Number 7, templates and worksheets, very popular, especially in the personal finance space. You could easily get people to download something if it's going to help them calculate something, right? Or organize something. This is a very, very quick win for people, and it's mostly just creating a blank form for people to fill out as long as it's organized in the right way, right? Next, hidden bonus content. There might be some, let's say, for example, you are a podcaster. Well, you have some secret podcast episodes or some bonus content that you kind of hid in the vault, and now it's available, but only for those who subscribe. So let me put this on the screen. You can screenshot this if you'd like. Again, you can go back to the replays. They're here and always available anyway. But here it is. You can take a screenshot of anything you see here today. But yes, the SharePoint Help Desk says sample chapter works. How well does a mini email course work if folks don't want more email? Here's the thing about that. That's actually a great question, Leadership Works. So the way that you want to approach it is you want to offer a transformation or something, help in some way that despite it being email, they're going to want it anyway, right? If I had a big pain in my business or in my life and I knew that I could have the answers to it if I subscribe to this email, I don't care if I don't want email or not. I want that transformation. So that's the sort of mindset you need to take with what you're creating. You're not creating an email course. You're creating a transformation for people. It just so happens to be using the mechanism of email, right? Okay, so that's beginner. When you actually are asking people for an email, you give first. That's why that works so well. You give and then you get, right? Next, growing your list in an advanced manner. Now, these kinds of strategies can often take a little bit more work to put together, but can actually work out even more. This can amplify and accelerate the growth of your email list from here. And I want to share with you one of the most popular ways that we have grown our email list. This may be a little meta because it is about email actually, but whether it's about email or not, the point is it's a challenge. Creating a challenge for people works so well because it is a thing that a person can do. They can see the transformation that they could get. It's achievable. It's not out of reach, and it happens on a specific day, right? It happens in a very specific moment of time. So this is our challenge, one of our challenges, and this is the 0 to 100 email subscriber 72-hour challenge. So here's what happens, and this is all delivered via email. A person clicks, I'm in, let's do this, right? And when they do that, they get then sent an email that preps them for when this challenge happens. It might be the next week or a couple weeks. You can automate this after the first go around, actually, and we have it automated at this point. So the challenge actually starts immediately after you hit that button. You can find that at 100emails.com if you want to check it out, by the way. 100emails.com, perfect for the beginner. But anyway, this is how the challenge works. Every day you get an email for 3 days that helps you grow your email list. Jada and Jen over at Simple Green Smoothies, they did a challenge to help people with offering recipes to make green smoothies at home, which then at the end of it helped people feel very, very healthy. And then they ended up buying their program or getting their book, their coffee table book, right? So a challenge can be really amazing because it happens at a specific time. You get people excited about it. People will often invite other people to the challenges together. This 100 emails challenge, when we ran it a number of years ago for the first time, we did it live, meaning we had a big sort of event around it. It happened on this date that everybody knew. We promoted it. We talked about it on social media. We had our friends talk about it, invite their friends over. We had over 14,000 people take this all at the same time. And yeah, we had a Facebook group to go along with it, and it kind of helped with the momentum even more. And it grew the email list really, really quickly. The beauty of a challenge is it also, in a quick manner of time, gets a person a result, right? So we were able to, in 3 days, show people that they could actually do this. And then they wanted more. That's when we promoted ConvertKit as an affiliate. That's when we, later on down the road, when we had a course, Email Marketing Magic, which is one of our most popular courses, we promoted that, right? So that works really well. What's up, Jorge? Great to see you here. Seemed to go over well, says BizQuig. Nice to see you here, Leah. Great to see you. How do you show the 8 things you listed? Do you use social media without a list? How do you get others in front of people? That's a great question. So we'll talk about that really quick before moving on. So the question was, okay, let's say you have a lead magnet. You still need to get in front of people somehow, right? How might you do that? Well, that's a great question. There's a number of different ways to grow your list. I mean, obviously, being on Google as a search engine offers, like search engine optimization, having your website on there. So posting content regularly on a platform can make sense, like a blog. Showing up on a YouTube video, right? Creating a YouTube channel. Having a podcast of your own. Social media can definitely work, especially if you create posts that people seem to share and go viral. I love going into different communities. So a Facebook group community or a LinkedIn community, and just providing value there. So much so that a person's going to go, hey, like, how did you do that? Do you have something that I can download or something that will show me how to do this more? Oh, yeah, it's actually here. And then they'll subscribe to get access to that. Guest podcasting is a great way right now to get in front of our other audiences, right? So that's the trick. Where do these audiences exist? Go there and provide value. And in exchange, people are going to go, hey, tell me more. Where can I get that thing? Or show me like how you organize that. Oh, here's the worksheet that you can download here. Here is the sample chapter of this book that I just talked about here. Here is the cheat sheet for the thing I just explained. That'll show you a checklist of how it goes down, right? So get in front of other audiences that exist. That's the manner by which you would do that. Cool? Cool. So creating a challenge can work really well. It has to be a achievable challenge. If this was a 0 to 10,000 emails in 3 days challenge, well, although that could potentially happen, that for most people would be a little bit too unbelievable, if you will. So 0 to 100 emails in 3 days. We also didn't make it a 30-day challenge either, because a 30-day challenge would also be too much time. So 3 days to a week can be great. If you can do a 24-hour challenge, even better. Micro wins for macro relationships, right? Micro wins for macro relationships. I just made that up, but I hope that makes sense. All right, let's go back to the beginners here. Using your list. You've grown your email list, right? You've had these lead magnets out there. How are you going to even use this thing, right? A lot of us think, oh, okay, now we just blast emails to everybody, right? That's what we should do. And the truth is that just turns people off, right? So what I love to approach email with, especially for beginners who are starting out, maybe you don't even have a product necessarily to sell yet. You don't know how necessarily you're going to monetize. Well, you can actually have a conversation with people and discover so much that then you can use to help even more. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Use this question. Please steal this from me. And again, I also want to give credit to where credit is due. Very important. Ryan Levesque, who wrote the book Ask. This is largely inspired by him. Use this question. What's your number one challenge related to blank? Insert this question into an email in your autoresponder. So a little bit of language here. An autoresponder, this is a set of emails. It could just be one. It could be several that you could write ahead of time that you only write once. And you can basically tell a rule that says, hey, for anybody who subscribes to my email list, send this email first and include these things in it. A week after that, send email number 2. And again, these are things you've already written. Have one of your first emails, if not the first email, be this literal question. What's your number one challenge related to staying physically fit right now? What's your number one challenge related to online business? What's your number one challenge related to raising your puppy right now? You will now get responses back from your actual warm target audience and what is on their minds. And they're likely to reply to, especially if you say this is a real email, hit reply. I'd love to reply back and have a conversation. A lot easier for you to do if you're just starting out as well. I can't possibly reply to every single email that comes my way anymore, but you possibly can. And that is to your advantage over other bigger brands that are out there, right? So this is really great because you're now able to get a lot of this information back. And you can then use that information. Take those challenges, take what it is that they're saying, and write articles about them. Make podcast episodes about them. Those become your future videos. Those become the lead magnets that you create in the future to invite even more people on. Those become the things you talk about in podcast episodes when you are a guest on another show. And it helps you look like you know exactly what a person's going through, which is exactly the case because you've literally asked them. And once you get this flywheel going, a flywheel is a way where things happen almost perpetually, right? Here's what happens. These inputs come in. Yes, again, you're actually asking your audience to reply back. If you don't understand how important, like I share this strategy with a lot of people, especially beginners, and like, well, I don't want to get a bunch of emails back. Like, I don't have the time. You don't have the time to understand exactly, precisely what it is on your target audience's mind. I'll show you later in this presentation exactly how useful and why this is so important in a real case study. However, I hope that you're understanding how vital it is to have these happen. But again, this flywheel, you're getting this information to come in. You are learning exactly what your target audience is asking for in their own words. Now you are creating articles or writing new emails or creating products specifically that addresses those, which then allows those people to then feel more comfortable sharing your stuff, to get excited about it, to talk about it, which then invites more people in. And now every day you can literally get emails from your target audience that come back. Now, that come back to you with even more of what they might need help with, right? So this is very key. One thing to do is categorize them as they come in. What kinds of questions, if you're noticing patterns, for example, the people are asking for the same exact thing or have the same exact problem, definitely something you want to pay attention to. Now let's talk about using your list on a more advanced level. Kyle, exactly right. You're interacting with your customers. I like that. Questions drive us. Exactly. And what happens when you then create something that answers one of those questions, which likely several other people in that audience also have? Well, then it's a home run or a grand slam at that point, right? I will have some time for questions at the end of this, so I appreciate all of your activity and engagement here. Super fantastic. I appreciate that. All right, now using your list on the advanced level. Again, we are using your list to collect information in the beginner level, right? So you can understand more about what they might need. Here is the advanced way to do this. And I want to share with you an actual email campaign that my team and I created. I created this, again, inspired by several other people. I'm just passing a lot of this information forward to you. However, this could potentially change your business, especially if you already have a product. This is the 5-day product launch email campaign. So again, weeks perhaps leading up to this campaign, you have a product for sale, you've been getting people excited about it, you've been talking about it on your blog, you've been talking about it on your podcast or YouTube videos. Boom, it is the day that your product is now live. What emails do you send out to your email list then? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. Email number 1. Well, this is your launch email, obviously. What's in it? Well, you're going to talk about exactly what this thing is, who it's for, and what's in it for them. Really important. Just very clear, straight up, no tricks, nothing trying to trick people with. This is what it is, who it's for, and why it exists. And very important, a CTA, a call to action. Very important to include in emails. We often forget that part, which is kind of sad. This is the direction you want to take people after they read the email, which is, of course, to click on the link to get your thing, to transform their lives or to get rid of that inconvenience, whatever it might be. So that's launch email on launch day. On day 2, how do I know this is real? This is what people are starting to ask themselves at this point. They've heard about the launch. They haven't purchased yet. And again, very clear here, and there are email service providers that make this very simple now. ConvertKit is my favorite by far. Full disclosure, I'm an affiliate and an advisor for the company. Many email service providers do this as well. But you want to assume that if a person ends up purchasing your thing, that you don't send them the rest of the emails, left in the sequence, right? It would, like, imagine we sell you something, and then the next day I'm like, hey, could you please buy this thing that you've already bought, right? So again, these are sort of rules that you can create in your email service provider. If people have this product already, get them off this sequence, right? Or take them out of this campaign. So I just want to make sure we're clear with that rule. No pre-launch emails, PLV. I mentioned that this is all the stuff that happens after launch, okay? There are pre-launch emails inside of my courses and stuff, and we do share these things in a very similar way. We actually give you the text to then Mad Libs put your stuff in there, but I'm just talking about a very specific thing. So this is after pre-launch, this is during launch. But yes, you would obviously have stuff pre-launch. Day 2, how do I know this is real? This is what people are thinking about. They've heard about this enough. They know it's launched. They need proof. Proof can come in many different ways. You want to be a little lighter on stats here, but for day 2, you want to talk about emotion, because in most cases, people will buy because of what their emotions are, right? How they're feeling, not necessarily if something is even logically makes sense to buying it right now. So speak to those people first. Emotionally and sort of internally, how and why does this product matter to them, right? And how is it real? Share stories of other people who've used this and really connect with them. This is why it's so important to learn the language of your target audience, right? Aaron says, how do you remove a person how do you remove from a sequence if a person uses a different email? Then you can have that person click on a link below, not to unsubscribe from the entire list, but to unsubscribe from a particular sequence. And there are ways and things that you can set it up. I'm not going to get into technically how to do that right now. Day 2, how do I know this is real? Answer that question, right? Write a story, have it be relatable, have a person reading this go, yeah, that's what I want, or that's like me. Day 3, call them out on their objections. This is very important. We need to get very clear with what is stopping a person from purchasing this, right? What are the fears and worries that a person might have, right? So let's say you're selling coaching, for example, and a great objection to have a rebuttal for in day 3 email is the fear or the worry of a person actually getting on a call with you, right? If coaching is the thing that you're selling, it can feel very intimidating to get on a call, like a 30-minute call with you every single week to help you through a transformation. So address it up front. In your email, you would say, we would have a 30-minute conversation every single week. But don't worry. I don't ask you personal questions, and I make sure that you're comfortable all along the way so that we can help you get to that transformation or help you achieve your goal, right? That's an example too. Let's say I'm selling a podcasting course, which we do have a podcasting course. One objection I know that I have to address is the idea that a person is scared of how other people will think about their voice. I'm afraid of, it's the same thing with YouTube as well. People are going to think I look ugly. People aren't going to watch because my voice is gross, whatever. So I have to address it up front. So in the day 3 email, I mentioned, hey, and by the way, you might be afraid that people don't like the sound of your voice. Well, the truth is, I'm going to make sure that no matter what your voice sounds like, that you're providing value. And when you provide value, honestly, people are going to love you for it no matter what your voice sounds like. So again, picking an objection, flipping it on its head, right? So a very important exercise that we teach in a lot of our marketing stuff is discover the fears and worries that your target audience has, right? Now, there is a common objection that you're going to come across in your marketing career, which is, oh, this is too expensive for me, right? And that is a common objection. But that is code. Something being too expensive is code for, I don't believe there's the value that I would give coming back to me in exchange, right? I don't, like, it's a positioning problem, not a pricing problem in most cases. I mean, in some cases, it's very obvious that based on other products in the market, it's like, wow, this is like 10 times more expensive than anything is anybody's ever prepared to pay for this thing, right? But in most cases, it's a positioning problem. You are not saying the things about the transformation that ultimately people understand is where the value is, right? We often talk more about the features of the thing than the benefits of it, right? The beard does make you look more handsome. Thank you for that, Jay. I'll copy and paste that and send it to my wife so she'll finally understand. I'm just kidding, although I will. Okay, so call them out on their objections. Very, very important. And tackle those worries head on. Like, address them. Because if you don't, a person on the other end reading your emails about this pitch, they're going to make up their own stories about why this is not going to work. Have them understand that you know what they're worried about and that you've taken care of it. Day number 4, yes, we are sending an email every day for 5 days about a product. This is very important because you're able to tackle the different kinds of people on your email list in different ways throughout this entire sequence. And again, remember, there are systems in place so that you can remove a person from a sequence as soon as they are, a customer, a student, or what have you, right? Okay, cool. Love that there's 400 people watching on a Monday right now. That makes me really happy because you're all here because you want to make progress on your email and your business. So I love that. Also, later in the show, I'll be talking about a very, very amazing thing that's happening inside of our All Access Pass this week, which will allow you to get access to my team and other things, and the deal's absolutely ridiculous. So, and again, I want to provide you value here in such a way where even if you don't take advantage of that, you're still coming home with something, and hopefully so far you've gotten value. Let me know in the chat if you've already gotten value here, and trust me, there's a lot more. Why they need to act now. This is day 4. Why do we need to act now? Melissa asks, how do you figure out the objections? Ask people, talk to people, get in conversation with your audience, and get in the heads of them. Day 4, however, is why they need to act now. This is where scarcity comes into play. A person, if something is always for sale, a person may always just understand, okay, well, I can buy it next week. I can buy it later, right? So there's a few ways to add what's called scarcity into the mix here. Scarcity and urgency will get people to move. And that is our role as somebody who has something to serve people with. You are able to serve your audience. It is your job to get a person to make a decision about it. If you don't do that, you're not doing your job. You have to have a person be able to make a decision, even if it's a no. As long as it's a clear no and no regrets, cool. You've done the job of helping them understand this is not the product for them. And on the flip side, you've helped the person understand that this is the product for them, as opposed to, oh, maybe I'll get it later, right? So urgency and scarcity, really, really key. So there's a couple ways to add that into the mix of your marketing, and this is where day 4 it would make sense to include because there's only 1 day left after this, right? So scarcity could be the price is going up after tomorrow. Scarcity could be the bonus goes away after tomorrow. So you don't always have to discount things. In fact, I'd recommend against that because it almost cheapens your product. But it can be used in smart ways, and we talk more about that in a lot of our marketing material inside of All Access Pass. But for now, we're going to pass over that. The other way to add urgency is to get really into the psyche of, well, what happens if you don't take action now? It might not be a specific date, but just as an extreme level, let's just say, for example, you have a online course to help older men run their first marathon, right? That's a very niche course for older men. It has stuff about particular pains that only older men would have in that age as they are trying to finally get physically fit and run their first marathon, okay? So if I don't have a particular date or deadline to meet, I might say it's really important to act now on this because every day that you wait is a day that your body is weakening, and the sooner you get started running, the sooner you can better take care of yourself and the longer you will live. I mean, you don't want to fearmonger either, right? Some people do that in different industries, and I dislike that, but there is a line there. But you also, as a service to those people, have to convince them to act now. You don't want to say, get this course or you're going to die tomorrow. Don't do that kind of stuff, right? You have to be truthful, but you also have to be a little bit, create some sense of urgency. Hey, Zebra, no worries. Older men have the pains. Oh, I can understand this now. I'm starting to get there too. My back, my sciatic was just acting up over the weekend. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. Day 5, in the morning. Your last chance. This is your last chance. A very quick email that answers some questions that you've seen come in from replies and in social and in just conversation. That's where you can add them in now on day 5 in the morning. Just last chance. Today's the last day to get this, or it's going away soon. Again, if you have that urgency. Noon. I recorded this video just for you. What is that? Well, I'll tell you what that email is in just a moment. But this is the number one most highest converting email, except for this last one that I just shared just now, which is the day 5, 6 hours left, final call, right? 2 paragraphs, 4 sentences, last call. You've already explained everything. If a person's not buying by now, they're not ready for it. But this email, the last day, in fact, converts 60%. I mean, in a week-long promotion, 60% or more often in our experience and in experience of many of my students, more than half of the people who come in on the final day. This is the day to be a little bit more aggressive because this is the last chance, okay? And I was, trust me, I know what you're worried about. That's way too many emails, Pat. People are going to unsubscribe. Some people will. But some people will thank you for those emails as well. I've actually gotten over that fear because we've had so many people be incredibly thankful for seeing those last moment emails and getting convinced to then purchase because that has changed their lives. So I'm in the camp of do it, okay? But I know what you're thinking. So what is this day 5 noon email, by the way? Well, a couple things. Number one, in our course, Email Marketing Magic, we do have these templates. We actually, it's one thing to just say, hey, make sure to include this in your email. We actually have templates you can actually copy and paste and just replace your products or your name with for those emails. So this is like the day 2 email, for example. The number 1 untapped resource for wedding photography clients. Or Meet Chris, a beginner photographer. Remember, that was the story one that relates to the target audience. So here is the day 5 noon newsletter email that comes out. And yeah, the subject line is, I recorded this video just for you. That's a very clickable subject line. You'll learn in this course just how important subject lines are. It's very important with email. In fact, it's the only thing they see before they even see anything in your email, obviously. So this is a very clickable thing. So am I recording a separate video for every single person on my email list? No. But I am recording a video in like that week, like actually recording it and not recording it in a professional studio. I'm recording it in my car or on a walk, on the go. Be sure to just not record in front of your house with your address being shown. But the point is, it is a message from you to the person who's on the fence. A message from you to the person who's on the fence. Yeah, 60%. It blows me away every time how last minute people are, but it's the truth. So you're missing out if you don't send these last day emails, especially this one. It's a video. It lives on YouTube. It's unlisted, so nobody finds it on search. But you will link to it in the email. You make it personable. You say you, not you guys, so that it is personable. 2 minutes or less. Unlisted, hosted on YouTube. That's it. And again, just talk from the heart. I'm not going to script this for you. Talk from the heart to the person who's on the fence and just let them know really what this is for and why they need to make a decision now, right? So let me go back to this email or this slide, somebody was asking for it. So you can take a screenshot of that real quick. But again, this replay is always going to be here. You can always just rewind even on YouTube. That's what I love about doing these on YouTube. Definitely added value to my Monday afternoon. Eric, thank you so much. And we're not quite done yet. But again, this noon email, I got to give credit. Again, credit to where credit is due. Ramit Sethi sent me one of these emails when I was on his email list, and it convinced me to purchase one of his products. And I thought that was absolutely genius. I reached out to him, and he's like, yeah, this works really well, and I wanted to pass it along to you too. So again, personable, you're talking directly to the single person on the other end who's on the fence. Yes, there's more of them. Everybody in your email list who's still receiving these emails at this point is that person. And you could see it feels very personal. I'm holding it in my hand. I'm holding my phone in my hand. It's not professional. If it was professional, it would feel fake. You want this to be real. All right? And you just link to this unlisted YouTube video in this day 5 email, and I promise you, you're going to get results. Yeah, you could put the link to your product in the description as well of the YouTube video, but having it in the email, people at this point may go back to those other emails and find that link because they are now convinced. The fact that you are creating a video for them, again, you're not creating a unique video for them, but it kind of is a unique video for them, if that makes sense. I hope that's not confusing. Thank you, PLV. I appreciate that. Okay. How we feeling? That was a lot. I know you're drinking from a fire hose, but you can go back and, rewatch this if you'd like. We do walk you through the process together in our accelerator, which happens Thursday, actually. You could join our accelerator. And so if you're a member of our All Access Pass, join the accelerator. You'll get your hand held through our email marketing course for the next several weeks, along with other students. More on that later. But just want to make sure you're doing good. Give me an emoji in the chat right now if you're feeling good, feeling positive, because we're about to go into the final framework here. I shared 2 ways to grow your list, 2 ways to use your list, one beginner, one advanced, respectively. And this one is a framework that's going to help you understand really the power of what can happen, because a lot of people think email is simply broadcasts and autoresponders, but this one layer further that I'm about to share with you takes it to a whole different level and will help you stand out from everybody else in your space from with the experience that people have on your email, right? Cool. All right. Again, I'll save some time for questions at the end. I see some great ones coming in, so hold those in the hopper for me because we're about to go in. A framework to get better everything, more open rates, better click-through rates, easier copywriting, automating this. This sounds like magic, and it kind of is. So let me show you. This right here is a picture of me without a beard. It's weird. But this was several years ago. I think this was in the Chicago airport. And I asked a random stranger to take a picture of me at Romano's Macaroni Grill because I have a history with Romano's Macaroni Grill. I used to be a waiter there. And so I needed to take this picture because I knew I was going to put this in a story one day, and here it is. So I used to be a waiter at Romano's Macaroni Grill, and I remember the training. In the training, it was a 2-week training, and basically we had to read a script. We had to approach a table with a bottle of wine and say things about Mama Romano and how she wanted everybody to feel welcome, like we were part of family, pour wine for the adults in the table, and then write our name upside down on the table. Has anybody ever been to Romano's Macaroni Grill? In most cases or not, if a person's doing their job, it's the same script every single time. However, this was my first time being a waiter, so I soon discovered that not everybody wanted to hear the spiel. And even though corporate was like, you must do the spiel, I knew that was not the best experience because if I saw a person come in who had already come in before, who had already gotten the spiel, would it make sense for me to share that again? No. So I started to learn very quickly this thing called IFTTT. Does anybody know who's in the chat right now what this stands for? So IFTTT. If this, then that. Very important. If this, then that. And what I understood very quickly as a waiter is that if a person had never come in before, then yes, I would share that script. If a person had come in before, then I would not share that script. And I started to pick up on these if then that rules as a waiter over time, right? If a person ordered the same meal every time they come in, then I would ask them if they would want the same thing. If a person came in, or if a family came in with 2 kids, then I knew to have the same amount of each colored crayon on the table, or else the kids would fight. And so if you've read my book, Superfans, you know that I talk about this particular case where I discovered that if a family came in with 2 kids, they would always fight over the crayons. So I made sure to have the same amount of crayons for each kid, and I'd give them to the parents to give to the kids. And the parents would always tip me more as a result of that, right? So this is what I'm talking about. If this, then that. And so we can do the same thing with email because not everybody on your email list, even if you are really good at discovering your niche and really focusing on who those people are, not everybody on your email list is the same, right? This was a big problem for me with the beginnings of my email list. Thank you, Linda. I treated everybody the same when everybody's not, right? And that was all the way up to 130,000 emails. So, even if you don't get this right away, you could still grow your email list. Again, those lead magnets and being a guest on other people's podcasts did help a lot. But the problem was I treated everybody the same. And these were the numbers that I was getting. A 20% open rate, right? So for every 100 people who got my emails, 20 people would click to open them. And out of the 100, 3% of people would actually click through. So 3 out of every 100 people would actually read the emails, right? Or actually click on the link in the emails. Well, Over time, I discovered this thing that I'm about to share with you and created different buckets of people in my audience, 3 to be precise, and the numbers jumped. I went from 20 people out of every 100 opening to 65. 3 times as many people now just opening the emails, which was huge. And as a result, an 8.5% click-through rate. So even a higher click-through rate. This changed the game. It tripled results all around the board. And it was because of the breaking down of my audience into 3 different buckets. Justin says, email marketing magic was great and love All Access, Pat. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Justin. Yeah, and for those of you who don't know what that is, we'll tell you more about that later because we're about to do another accelerator very soon. Here's a quote from Michael Croft. He says, the idea of dividing a market up into homogeneous segments and targeting each with a distinct product and or message now is at the heart of marketing theory. This is where we start to get rubber to meet the road and really do some things here with email that is unlike anything else anybody's really teaching out there. Don't treat all your leads the same. So here's step 1. Here's how to do this, because I'm not just going to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you how to do this, right? And I'm going to show you. We did this too. Remember this question from earlier? What is the number 1 challenge you have related to blank? Remember that question? You're going to ask that question to your audience as well, because this is how you're going to discover what those buckets are. And we discovered some buckets on our end. Again, credit to Ryan, the book Ask he authored, and that is me without a beard again, and that's so strange. I need to take a new picture of that. So I asked my audience this. This is how we did this. Again, we had an email list of 130,000, and we were like, we need to know exactly what's happening here. So we asked our audience this question. We noticed that we got different kinds of answers from different kinds of people. Here was one group of people who said answers like this. What's the number 1 biggest challenge you have related to online business? I'm overwhelmed from all the information available to me. I don't know where to start. I'm afraid of wasting my time and money. I'm not sure what kind of business I'd like to create, and the fear of failure is stopping me from moving forward. Okay. Well, this is bucket 1. These are the people who have no online business yet. They're speaking as if they haven't even started. They're too afraid to pull the trigger. They have an itch to get started, though. They read and consume a ton of stuff, but they haven't pulled the trigger, and those were a lot of the fears: wasting time, wasting money, etc. Bucket number 1, cool. That's really good to know. Here was a second group of quotes and responses from a survey that we ran and conversations that we had. I'm fearful I'm just wasting time. I'm trying to do too many things. I'm not seeing results that I expected. I want to quit. I don't know what my next step should be. Bucket number 2, they have an online business, generate less than $500 a month. Justin says, how crazy is it to almost abandon all social media and focus on email marketing for a specific client? That's basically what we do, or what I do. Email is so much more important to me than social media. I could live without it. Generate less than $500 a month. They're just getting started, and they have superhero syndrome, which means they think they could do everything themselves, right? This is why they're getting burnt out at this point. They're getting overwhelmed. This is the thing that we learned about bucket 2. Completely different than bucket 1, even though everybody here is still learning about online business and entrepreneurship, right? And then bucket number 3 was the rest, everybody else who already had a successful business and generating more than $500 a month. So here's how we then were able to segment those people. Once we discovered this is what was different about them, this is how we do it. Yeah, basically CX in the City, which is an awesome username, by the way. This is how we started to break them out. So this is how you get your audience to self-segment. This is called the main list to bucket strategy. So you already have one list, right? Remember, you were dumping everybody into the same sort of bucket. Now we want to separate them into different buckets. How do we do that? Well, I send them an email. And in this email, there's 3 options they can click on. All right? Here's that email. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the most important part is this part right here. Which of the following best describes your online business activity? Click on one answer that best describes you. Now, these are all what's called link triggers in ConvertKit. Different email service providers do very similar things. But when a person clicks number 1, for example, now the system tags them as bucket 1. Bucket 2 if they click number 2, bucket 3 if they click bucket number 3. And now that record, that email address is connected to that tag. So in the future, like imagine how powerful this is. If I'm going to send an email out to my audience now about advanced SEO strategies, that would not be relevant to somebody just starting out, would it? So now that I have this information, I can tell ConvertKit or an email service provider to say, hey, send this to everybody except bucket number one. Don't even let them know this email exists. It's only going to go to people for whom this message matters for. So now people aren't getting emails where they're like, this isn't for me. This is how powerful this is, right? Now you might be like, Pat, I want to see this entire email. How many options are too many? I would aim for 3 different buckets. There might be 20 different kinds of people in your audience. What are your top 3? Just focus on those, because yes, you're absolutely right. You can have like 20 different. Here are the females over 50 who have golden retrievers. You don't need to go that deep, right? Julie, I think any information you get from your audience like that is great. Would you ever ask your list what kind of information they don't want to receive? Absolutely. I mean, how incredible would it be to learn that, right? What do you do when they outgrow their current bucket? So every once in a while, when you send emails to bucket number 1, you can say, hey, have you outgrown? Have you already started a business? If so, click here and we'll move you to the next segment of our list that has information that's more relevant for you. So you can actually have triggers like that in emails to, if person clicks this, they now are tagged with bucket 2 and not in bucket 1. So yeah, this is, again, a little bit more advanced, but I want to give you something for being here. If you go to smartpassiveincome.com/bucket copy, I'll give you that entire email, not just this part of it, but you're going to see how I set this up, right? It basically shows people that I'm trying to help them. If I were to read that email, the basic gist of it is, and you could go there right now and download it for free, right? Ruth, how do we decide to use $500 as the sort of cutoff, if you will? It was just seeing how much income those different buckets were making around the time. It doesn't have to be exact, but again, that was a good number for us, and that felt right. If you're making over $500 a month, it felt like you actually had the right business practices in place. You just needed to be a little bit more strategic versus, do I have suggested email provider? Yes, ConvertKit, smartpassiveincome.com/ConvertKit. That's our affiliate link. So I'm going to leave this up just for a few more seconds so you can get that email copy and see how we set this up. And essentially, we say, hey, I'm here to help you, but I need to know one thing about you because I don't want to send you emails that don't matter to you. I don't want to waste your time. Imagine subscribing to an email list and having somebody say that. That's so a breath of fresh air, isn't it? Like, wait, okay, all the future emails are going to be specifically relevant to me? Amazing. Now I'm going to make sure I open those emails in the future, right? Cool. So this is the link, smartpassiveincome.com/bucket copy. Now we can deliver unique content to them, right? So I want to share with you the first email. So if you are in bucket number 1, I'm just going to share with you the email that you get. And you're going to see how much, now that I know that they're in bucket number 1, right? Remember, fear of starting, wants to create something, but and consumes a ton, but just is fearful of wasting time, wasting money, not sure what to do, right? That's who we know is in bucket number 1. And they self-select in there. I might have lead magnets on my website that are specifically built for bucket number 1. Your lead magnets don't have to serve everybody. But I know that people who download the Beginner's Guide to Online Business PDF file, checklist, cheat sheet guide, sample chapter, whatever it might be, I know they're in bucket number 1. So I don't even need to ask them. I can place them there already, right? Thank you, Kathy. So check out this email. Future entrepreneurs, read this. Remember, get in the mindset of a person who has not yet started a business and look at how just perfect this content is. Quick question. Do any of the following statements reflect where you are right now with your desire to create an online business and passive income ideas? So first of all, the subject line, future entrepreneurs, read this. Future entrepreneurs, I'm talking to them as if they're already starting a business, right? If I said future entrepreneurs to everybody, well, some people are already entrepreneurs and that wouldn't make sense. Dear subscriber, do any of these reflect where you're at right now with your desire to create a passive income online business? I'm overwhelmed, so I'm just writing bullet points here. The fear of failure is stopping me from moving forward. I don't know where to start. I'm afraid of wasting my time and money. Does anybody remember where these came from? I'm not inventing this. These are the exact literal bullet points that my audience told me in conversations and in surveys when I asked them this question. What's the number one biggest? I'm just regurgitating the exact same things that other people who are in the same bucket have said to me. I don't even need to write the copy anymore. It's already written. And I'm sharing it with them. I'm reflecting it back toward them. And what does that do for me? It helps a person who's brand new to my list go, oh my gosh, this person, Pat Flynn dude, he's got a weird beard, but man, he knows what I'm talking about, right? Check out some of the replies to that email. Lourdes says, hey, Pat, I feel like you're in my head. I'm thinking every single one of those thoughts constantly. Jacqueline says, wow, all of those statements and more definitely describe how I feel about the prospect of starting any kind of online business. And Asian says, I've never met anyone who's so vividly described me when it comes to online business like you've just done. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Do you see how just understanding the language of your audience and who they are, how much that matters? This is revolutionary for some people. And if I were to ask you, do you think these people here, Lourdes, Jacqueline, and Essian, do you think they're going to open the emails that are going to come their way from me in the future? Absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, I wrote a book in 2015 called Will It Fly? The subtitle is How to Test Your Next Business Idea So You Don't Waste Your Time and Money. That's the tagline. Where did I get that? The same thing. I'm reusing the same thing. Literally the same thing. Now it's part of the language of a beginner in my audience to know that I understand what they're going through. And this is one of my favorite images ever because it's a fighter pilot in the Air Force who brought my book up in the sky to take a picture of him with Will It Fly. I'm doubtful that he's reading it up there, but he wanted to bring it up because there's a little bit of a dad joke and pun there too. So yes, hopefully this inspires you. So, a lot of people don't realize that you have to continually ask that question, right? What are the number one challenges related to blank, right? Continually ask that, like even once a year. Doing that can be really great. But we've asked this recently, and here's what people came up with. I need help with email marketing, growing my list, getting my email marketing where it should be. These are responses that even some people are saying inside of our community, and this is exactly why we have our upcoming accelerator happening. How to sell to my email list without upsetting people. I want my emails to work just the way it does for everyone else. So these are a lot of the addresses that we are approaching and creating transformation around inside of email marketing magic. Yes, Ryan Dice, exactly. Ryan Dice from Traffic and Conversion. So I want to ask you today in the chat, what's the number one item you learned on today's training? I want you to let me know in the chat. We picked up a lot of things, right? As a reminder, we talked about a beginner growth strategy using email lead magnets, right? I shared 8 different lead magnets that you could pick up. Make them short, concise, transformational. The longer, the worse. We live in an age now where we don't need more information. We need the right information coming our way, which is, in fact, what my next book is about. Advanced growth strategy, using a challenge to help people feel like that within a short period of time, along with others, they're going to get a transformation. That is worth subscribing to, right? So creating a challenge. Next, we talked about using your email list. That question, what's the number one challenge related to blank? If you're a beginner, use that to understand more about who your target audience is and what it is that they need help with so that you are not guessing anymore, right? Advanced strategy. You got to make sure to get those email campaigns going. I shared a 5-day post-launch email sequence or launch email sequence with 5 days of emails, including that one email. I recorded a video just for you. And if, again, you're coming in late, you can go back and rewatch this replay, or we'll send you an email a little bit later about that info. And then finally, the framework, the if this, then that. Not all subscribers on your list are created equal. They might be in different parts of the journey or in different segments. And when you create content that's just for them, it absolutely blows your mind and helps them understand that they are in the right place. Wow, so many comments from people about all kinds of different things about email marketing, which is great. Your breakdown of the launch emails, thank you, Val. I appreciate you. Amanda said, how to understand your target audience, great. Andres, the recording will be immediately available right here, like where you are right now, as soon as I hit end on the stream. But before I end, I wanted to ask you all one question. May I have your permission to share a little bit about my email marketing course? So we've had this course for 3 years now, Email Marketing Magic, and it has worked like magic to help a lot of people with a lot of the confusion around email, everything from GDPR, which I saw a question about earlier. What's nice is ConvertKit can help take care of that with just a couple button clicks, which is really nice, all the way through hooking up your domain to emails and all those technical things, all the way through strategy and launching and different kinds of emails that you can write for different kinds of people. Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. Gonzo in the house. What's up, Gonzo? Great to see you. Cool. Well, let me introduce to you Email Marketing Magic. This is a course, again, that came out a few years back, and it's one of our most successful courses because it helps people get results rather quickly. Some courses, like our podcasting course, it might take several months before a person launches their show. But this one you can start to see results rather quickly. We want you to grow your list using it. We want you to make more money and then finally automate like magic, which is the piece that most people are holding out on, which is, well, how do we get this thing to just work for us now? It takes a little bit of setup, but we got you. And this is now available in our All Access Pass. And that you can find at smartpassiveincome.com/EMM for Email Marketing Magic. Yes, you can buy this course on its own for $499 if you want, with no help. You're going through it on your own, which you can totally do. That's how we promoted courses for a year. But I want to tell you about this accelerator in just a second. The goal here, however, of Email Marketing Magic is this: grow your list faster with better leads. I say faster twice there. It's that fast. Not really. Convert those leads to sales and products that you have and automate the entire process. And again, our Email Marketing Magic Accelerator kickoff is on Thursday this week. We've had people come into this course committed. These are previous students of the course who commit to making this work. And I want that commitment from you as well. I'm committed to making email marketing profitable and automatic. So yes, you can get lifetime access to the course for $499. Thousands of students have come in that way in the past. However, there's a better way to go about it now, right? The All Access Pass, which was launched last year, has been a game changer. We've changed our business model, in fact. So here's what it is. You can get all of our online courses and workshops. There's over a dozen, from email marketing to webinars to growing your traffic to YouTube. YouTube from scratch is in there. Podcasting, both podcasting courses, access to an active community of other like-minded entrepreneurs like you, access to my team. Team SPI is here to serve you and guide you throughout the process as well. Guided pathways. So let's say you're a beginner. Well, then only take these few that are for the beginner line, the beginner track. If you're advanced and you're ready to start advertising on your podcast, cool. Go through the podcast advertising track, etc. And finally, and what has been most popular, are our accelerators. So our accelerators are classes of people that go through a particular course at the same time. You can go through them at any time with access to all of them. But our Email Marketing Magic one starts on July 27th. When you are in our All Access Pass, you can see all the courses there here on the left-hand side that you can get in and just go through them. They're there. Also, office hours happen as well. However, the accelerator happens with a particular course. You can see these are the individual courses that you can get access to that at any time if you were to purchase them one-off. You can see they're hundreds of dollars. But I want to ask you, what is the price that you would value this at? Knowing that every individual course is worth hundreds of dollars, what would you price this offer for the All Access Pass at? What would you think this would be, including the accelerator, which again starts on Thursday? Our kickoff call is on Thursday. Ashley's going to be leading that. We have several team members in there to help guide you through. You consume a few lessons every week, and then you can show up to office hours if you want. You don't have to show up for lessons, though. That's the beauty of this. You can be in any time zone, and it can work. Oh, thank you, chat. I see a lot of people who've used it already, which is amazing. So what would you value this at? Well, here's the truth. We want this to be as low friction as possible. We want this to be available for the most people as possible. So this will be the equivalent of $59 per month. We bill you quarterly at $179, but hundreds, thousands of dollars worth of courses that you would have to pay individually for, or for $59 a month, billed quarterly, $179. So Circle is the community platform that we use. That's what you saw here. This is where you have access to the community, have access to the accelerators, et cetera, et cetera. The SharePoint helped us as $1 million. No, $179 per quarter. So all you have to do is go here, smartpassiveincome.com/EMM, and you want to make sure you sign up by July 26th. This is going to be a game changer, especially if you know email is important for you and you just needed some hand-holding along the way. This is where it will go down. smartpassiveincome.com/EMM. After you graduate the accelerator for email marketing magic, you can go into the next one, maybe about YouTube. You can go into a course about webinars, right? Head over to smartpassiveincome.com/EMM. And when you go there, you click on Get Your Pass. Yes, again, you can buy it one-time purchase if you want, but get into the All Access Pass. You'll see some members here that are just, it's billed quarterly again, $179 per quarter, but it breaks down to $59 per month. You'll see a lot of testimonials already in the chat. Thank you, Yakking. Appreciate you. Hope you got some value here. So again, join our All Access Pass today. This is a absolute steal with regards to the ROI that you can get from this information. You still have to do some work, but we're going to guide you through that work. We're not going to leave you on your own if you go through the All Access Pass. And you're going to see there's other like-minded folk like you in there who can walk through that course with you. You're going to take a few lessons every single week, and after a certain number of weeks, I think the email marketing magic one is 6 weeks. It could be 8, but at your own pace through that, you'll get accountability through it, get to meet some other people and actually work through it together, which is awesome. And this new strategy of teaching is what we call community-powered courses. We want to be, and we are, at the leading forefront of how education in the online business space for online business works. It is community-powered courses. That is the way it has to happen. Yes, we could sell, and yes, we could make more money selling this one-off with a very small team. But that would not be of best service to you because that's not the best way to go through these courses. We changed our entire business model to deliver this information in a way that we know will give you the most amount of success. So again, smartpassiveincome.com/EMM. Check it out now. Thank you so much. Thanks, Pat. Awesome as always. Thank you so much. 6 weeks. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Thank you, Ties. Appreciate you. Perennial question. Do you share the computer, camera, audio setup you're using right now in any of those courses? Yes, I do. You can see stuff in the, actually, we are revamping the podcasting course. You'll see a 3.0 version coming out in September. So yes, we do keep these courses updated as well. And that actually will include a video podcasting segment or a new module for video podcasting. But in YouTube from scratch, we offer different levels of sharing your videos and audio. In the webinar course, we talk about that as well. So yes, absolutely. What's up, Night Owls? Great to see you. Community, we rock together. Thank you, Deborah. First live stream, nailed it. Thank you, Biz. I appreciate it. You know, a lot of people come here and they're like, Pat, how are you able to sell but not like be sleazy? And I appreciate that. And some people still think I'm sleazy because I'm just selling anything. But when I know that I have something of value that can change a person's life and transform them or help solve a problem that they have, email is a big problem for a lot of businesses. And many of you just know, even if it's in the back of your mind, how important email is and you've just been avoiding it for years. I know that this can help. So I'm so confident in what I'm sharing here with you. And yes, there's money back guarantees and all that stuff. I don't even mention that anymore, even though I just did, so I apologize. Because most people stay in the community. We have like a 4 or 5% churn rate, which is some of the lowest in the industry. I am so confident in what we have to offer that if you come in and you're like, this is not for me, I know that it wasn't for you and you're being truthful, right? Because we know that for the right people, this will be a game changer and the community can help support them. Even after you end up going through email marketing magic, there's the rest of the stuff there for you. Reading Superfans for the first time now, and I'm really enjoying it. Thank you so much, Ben. I appreciate that. Leadership Work says, how would you spread the 5-day launch for a 6-week course that you may need more lead time so people can plan their schedules in advance? So for cohort-based stuff, this is a tough one. So for cohort-based things, you would need to have things be a little bit more in advance so people can plan them in their schedule. You want to be cognizant that there's different time zones and have the ability for people to, if they were to miss a call, for example, to still be able to absorb that content in one way or another, leadership. But at the same time, a little bit more lead time can work. And the most important thing is if, let's say, for example, you sell out this thing, but the course still doesn't start, the cohort doesn't start for another couple months, you at least want to get people prepared and stay in contact with them. Stick with communicating with them at least once a week so that they're still excited until that time comes, right? If it's foundational, the product has a longer life. Yes. Leadership says exactly. Cool. Question, what if you have an already paid full price for several courses when they were originally launched? Is there a discount? Robert, you can reach out to us, help@teamspi.com. Unfortunately, there is not much we can do there. However, we could still talk to you about what your needs are and see if we can, find a right spot for you. But in traditional selling in any capacity, things change, and it's like I could go back to things that I purchased years ago and say, hey, this is completely different now, or it's on discount now. We want to provide as much value as we can for you. So help@teamspi.com. Tell us exactly what courses you got into, Robert, and we can talk from there. That's because Pat is genuine. The Pat you see here is the Pat you see in person. Thank you, Val. I appreciate you for that. Any other email questions? I did skip over a lot of questions. How do you work with an email list that sign up for a regular weekly newsletter and get them to an autoresponder and get them to a bucket? Rex, that's a great question. So you can send a broadcast, right? And again, if you're approaching this from a value first or serve first, right? If you're serving first and you're saying, hey, this is why we're doing this. I'm going to have some information about this particular thing. And if you happen to be on this newsletter, don't feel like you have to, but we're going to be sharing these kinds of things in the future. And if those are the kinds of emails that you're interested in, click here. If not, no worries, and I won't bother you with those things, right? Again, being very genuine, transparent, and authentic is better than trying to trick your audience into doing something, which is why I'm here to tell you that genuinely, I know this can help you with email. Again, smartpassiveincome.com/EMM. And you want to get in by the end of day Wednesday, or else it's too late. You won't be able to join the accelerator and go through it with a group and instructors from Team SPI. What do you say in the day 5 recorded video for you overall? What's the message? So let me do a sample. I'll pretend like I'm sending you a video about the course, Email Marketing Magic. How would I start? Hey, it's Pat here, and I know you've been hearing a lot of information and seeing a lot of emails from me about Email Marketing Magic, and today is the last day to get access to it. But I want to talk to you really quick because I want to make sure that whether you say yes or no to it, that you know that's the right decision for you. You would say yes to this course if you know that you've been struggling with email, even if you've started, if it hasn't really done what you wanted to do, but you know you've invested into it before and it feels like a waste. This is where you can finally start to see results from some of that stuff. And if you're afraid of somebody leaving you behind, like you purchase a course and they leave you hanging, well, don't worry. You don't need to worry about that here because my team and I are going to take care of you. And in fact, the accelerator that you can get direct access to my team with and office hours to make sure you're still being taken care of is available for you until tomorrow. Now, it's not for you if, of course, you've already gotten your email systems down. This is largely toward those who are just starting out, or it's not working for them. If you already know what you want to scale with, then this is not for you. I don't want to have your money because you deserve to put that elsewhere. It's also not for you if you think that you're just going to push a button and things are going to work automatically. I want to be very honest with you. There's a little bit of work to be done, but what's beautiful about this course is finally, after you get these things in place, they will continue to work for you over time. But if you've already solved that, or again, if you're just expecting for results to happen overnight, then I don't want you here either, and I don't want to waste your money. But if you're still here watching this, you have till the end of day today to get access to it. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions for me, hit reply to the email, and I'd be happy to answer them before the end of the day today. Bye. So anyway, that's how I would do that. And it doesn't have to be one take either. You can have you can cut it, you can edit it if you want. That's fine. But I wouldn't have it in a professional studio. Like the highest converting one that I did, I remember I was at my daughter's hula practice. She dances hula. I was in the parking lot and I just filmed myself in my truck. And like the fact that it was like the lighting was not good and I like my kid was in the back sleeping and I was just like, hey, yeah, my kid's back there anyway. I just needed to share this with you anyway. My other kid was in the back, I wasn't at hula practice keeping my daughter asleep in the car. Anyway, it was just more raw and more real. So be real with those people. And again, you might worry, I don't know what people are going to think about me on video. You will be praised for having the cojones to create a video, put it out there, to say that this is a course that you know will help them. Imagine your audience is drowning in an ocean, and that ocean is their pains, their concerns, their problems, their inconveniences, whatever. And you have the life ring, right? You have that life ring that you could throw out to them. And can you imagine saying to that person who's right there, maybe just out of arm's reach, and you're saying to them, this life ring could help you, but I've never done this before, so I'm scared. I'm too afraid of how other people will talk about how I throw this life vest out at you. You would never say that, right? You throw it out there, and if you miss, you reel it back in and you throw it again, right? And if a person over there is already swimming and they're fine, you don't need to bop them in the head with the life ring. The life ring's not for them. You have another thing for them. So hopefully that analogy makes sense. Avram says, thank you, Pat. Unfortunately, I will not be able to join you until late fall. No worries. We have accelerators all the time. In fact, the email one was out of request from our current community. And so we're happy to bring new people in. We want to welcome you. Thank you so much. Does Email Marketing Magic address cold email messages at all? It addresses how to send emails properly, which then in turn, yes, it can help you with cold emails. So definitely, especially, but it doesn't help with how you might reach out to somebody for the first time, if that makes sense. There are other courses, however, like our podcasting course, which there is a lesson about how to outreach to get on other people's podcasts, which involves email. We all have a responsibility to help everyone along this life. Thank you. You and Karma are always my life ring. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate you. Charles says, question, send out many emails spaced out or one PDF ebook or both? My question to you, Charles, would be what would be most valuable and helpful to your audience, right? Sometimes all of it at once is not of value because there's too much. Sometimes people don't want to wait and they want to get it all up front. How would you find out the answer to that question? That's my challenge to you. How does ConvertKit compare it with MailChimp? Oh, man. So both can do a lot of the same things, obviously. However, MailChimp, I'm quite worried about because they're expanding onto a lot of other things like how to build websites, how to do e-commerce. Like they have removed a lot of their focus on just the email component of this. And I'd much rather, if I'm going to cut down a tree, I'd much rather use the best saw in the world versus a Swiss Army knife where I'd have to work a little bit harder. Yes, it's convenient because it's in my pocket or whatever, but if I want to cut down a tree and I want to do it in the best way possible, I want the saw. And in this analogy, ConvertKit is the saw for most people. Is email greater than social media? Yes. Now, email is not going to help you. That's not true. What I was going to say is email is not going to help you grow because email is for people who already know you exist. But actually, that's not true. I receive emails from people who say, Pat, dude, this email is perfect for you. You have to check this out, right? So if your emails are good enough, especially if they're newsletters that you have a call to action to share it with their friends or a landing page for people to share it with their friends, then it can work to grow. Yes, absolutely. But you are not at the you are not a slave to the algorithms when it comes to email. You can focus on deliverability and your subject lines to grow instead of what does the algorithm want today and adding more noise. You can add more value in that way. Will email course be helpful for an appointment-based business versus selling products, courses online? Yes. I mean, it's all businesses can benefit from the kinds of stuff that Email Marketing Magic has to talk about. And we can tailor a lot of our stuff in the accelerator as you are progressing along in terms of office hours and some of the direct help for that specific purpose. Yes. If I join for one quarter and like it, then I can upgrade to the annual plan for $5.99. I believe so, Julie. And so if that were to happen, you can email help@teamspi.com for sure. So you could try the monthly if you wanted to see what it was like and be a part of the accelerator. Very common for that to happen. And people come in and they're like, this is beyond anything I would have ever thought it would be in terms of value. And then they end up coming annual. Would an email be the same as a newsletter? A newsletter is a very specific type of series of emails that gets sent out. Newsletters typically are either in real time or semi-real time, meaning it's like stuff that happened this past week, more digest-like, or they can be pre-written and put into an autoresponder, but that's only the most successful if you really know who it is that your target audience is, and we talked about those buckets and creating those different personas today. And when you do that and are sending the right emails, then yeah, you can absolutely have a newsletter that's already pre-written, it's automated, that can essentially work as a nurture sequence to then warm people up, get them to know you, get them to know your style, and then, a month down the road or 6 weeks later, here comes the first email that pitches something after you have now had that email/newsletter sort of build a relationship with them, which can definitely happen. Charles says, when do you decide to switch angles in a solo stream like this? Is it randomly? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of randomly. I mean, sometimes I just do it for fun. I like to switch when I'm trying to reset or set the room, right? So a lot of times you'll see me, I'm talking main camera and then I'm going to tell a story or teach a lesson. Like when I told that macaroni grill story earlier, then I went over here because it made it feel like a visual change or a visual reset. And I know this doesn't necessarily have to do with anything with email, but you asked, and I love when people ask about this stuff because I try to do it differently for sure. All right, final question here from AJR. And again, make sure to go here smartpassiveincome.com/EMM for email marketing magic. And if you get in by the 26th, that would be ideal. Again, very, very low price point for what we're offering here, especially when you consider that you get access to all the courses. You know what also is cool about this new business model that we have? Community-powered courses. For so long, a lot of our courses were getting like ripped off or people were taking them. And it's like, you know what? Good luck. Because what is really going to help you today is going through these courses along with other people. And if you just rip these things off and share and sell them or whatever, which, you know, we've put the ban hammer and you know, Thor's hammer down on a lot of those things. Our lawyers were very busy for a very long time. But even then, it's like, good luck. Because right now what's working is going through a course with other people. A little bit of accountability goes a long way. So that's something that a person cannot replicate. And that's what I love about where we're going with SPI. So I appreciate you all for coming in today. Question, what is the deadline? Hour on July 26th. So 9 p.m. Pacific. 9 p.m. Pacific, or eventually midnight Eastern on the 27th, if you will. Any ideas for a comic book email list, Pat? Behind the scenes. What's coming behind the scenes? Think of people who are super fans of their favorite comic artist at Comic-Con. Like, what would they love to see from their favorite artist or favorite comic book author? Share some of those behind the scenes. What's coming? Tease things. Get people exclusives. Oh my gosh, so many things you can do there. How important is the platform you use for email marketing? It's rather important. We teach and love ConvertKit because it's just so easy. I mean, there's a lot of great, powerful products out there, but most people don't use them because you just get so overwhelmed. I'm here to simplify, and that's what the Email Marketing Accelerator is going to do for you. That's what SPI and the All Access Pass does for you, and that's what I'm here for. So again, thank you so much for today. I appreciate you. I'm glad this was helpful, Kathy. I love you. Thank you so much for coming in today. Right here's the link, smartpassiveincome.com/EMM, and I'll see you later. And keep up the good work, and I hope to see you in there. And the accelerator starts soon, so get in now while you can. Cheers, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a great day.